Mike Akmans here, Supply Chain Dynamics, Chapter 9, Quality Cascade, Sysdea Gameplay 5, Capacity Management, or in this case, all capacity is personnel, so personnel flow manager, you could also call it. That's one of the easier sectors in this model. Basically, all FTE, all full-time equivalents, are managed here by a pretty simple first-order negative feedback process. So you have a certain target that you want to hit, and you try to hit it over a certain delay, and there are some caps on it. There are certain maximum numbers of staff that you can hire. So I know if we take field install or provisioning, they're quite identical. The number of people that you have here is, of course, the result of what you had before, plus what comes in. That's the adjustment of the field install. That can be a plus or a minus. So the formula here is, this is the classical one. And what we want in field install is the indicated field install, but we can't have more than the maximum that we allow. And the maximum that we had in there was because KPN was working against strong budget constraints. So we can't have more than 400 people in here. And that's just the way it is. There is therefore quite a gap that we allow in there, and this is then the adjusted field install gap that we were looking at earlier on. That comes from the indicated field install. Was the indicated field install? So it's how many people we would like to have. That is how many people have today times the gap in workload. So we have in this model the target workload is usually 1, and that means that we would like to have everybody working there all the time. We can have, and we will play with it, lower a workload so that there is some spare time and also some spare capacity. But nevertheless, that's the workload that we aim for. And the workload in field install comes from the capacity field install required divided by field install available. And that's the formula that we've had before. So this workload is basically the percentage. So if you have 20%, if you have a workload of 120, then because 1.2, which is you have 20% more people, you need 20% more people than you have today. The capacity required is 20% more than your field installs available. Then this is then that you'll get 1.2 out of here. That's then the gap. You take 1.2 minus 1 is 0.2, and that 0.2 is then multiplied by this total population, and that's then the addition that you want in here, but of course with a maximum in here, and that maximum never really becomes a problem with this type of large FTE. We can play with those, but in the simulation model, in field install and in provisioning, there are not really caps. Caps were much more around in the complaint handling area, where this really led to serious capacity shortages, and perhaps to some degree also in the call center, at least historically, and not necessarily in up here, because if you look at the additional call handling, then you don't see a capacity constraint here even. But that's the fairly basic corrective mechanism for getting more people in, driven by the gaps in workload and capped by to a certain level by the maxima that were allowed because of budget constraints. So that's capacity management.